Woodstock, a word that still means music, community, and a spark that refuses to fade. From fields that made history to a small New York town that shaped the myth, the spirit is still alive. On stage, on screen, in the streets. This is High Times Does Woodstock, presented by Woodstock Cannabis Company. Today we explore how Woodstock became more than a concert. We walk the town that carries the name. We drop into the 2025 Woodstock Film Festival, and we listen for the ways cannabis has threaded it all. A quick truth to set the stage: the 1969 concert happened in Bethel, New York. The festival carried the name Woodstock because the artists and the scene were rooted here. Music and protest, art and action. For many, cannabis stood as a symbol of questioning the old ways and imagining something better. Cannabis is part of daily life here now, legal, regulated, woven into the local economy and the creative rhythm. This film is presented by Woodstock Cannabis Company. They are a local brand with roots in this community. People, place, and plant in balance. You will hear from them about why giving back matters here. I'm joined here today by my wonderful friend Martin Mills, General Manager of the Woodstock Cannabis Company. He's going to be showing us the cool, unique spots around town and what Woodstock today is all about.
Thanks, Kyle. It's really, really awesome to have you guys here. I love High Times. I love Woodstock. And I love how we can tie all this history of the two companies together in this really historic place that has catapulted cannabis to where we are today. And I feel like, I hope you feel the magic that's in these mountains when we're walking around town and hanging out today.
I can't wait. We're going to be talking to some cool people, enjoying some good buds, and seeing what Woodstock has to offer. Do you smoke cannabis?
I remember when there were twigs and seeds.
We just cleaned the resin off my thumbs from rolling up a few before I left the house. I am certainly a lover of cannabis and have been for a very long time.
I like to roll. Pre-rolls are great. Vaping is great, but I still like the roll part of it.
I'm a lifer, and I probably have been smoking since 72.
Cannabis, yeah, that's been a regular ally continuously since I was a teenager. I'm respectful of it, though.
It's not something I do out in public. I live up on the mountain, and it's nice to toke up and just be out in nature.
Everybody's metabolism's different, so I'm like a couple hits of weed, do some art, do what I gotta do, and definitely inspirational and influential, so still is.
Like my kids said, Dad, you can never say anything about smoking herb to us because we can't remember a time that you didn't have a joint in your hand. So that's me. I'm straight up stoner.
Yeah, so I run the adult use cannabis part of Woodstock, and we sell into dispensaries across New York, New Jersey, and California. And we also have a beverage that is a cannabis-derived beverage that's sold in beverage stores in states that allow it, like New Jersey, Connecticut, North Carolina, Tennessee, because everybody is seeking cannabis. These are 1 gram, 2-pack pre-rolls. They sell really good. We work with, Legacy Farmer out of Ithaca, Night Owl Farms, to grow this. It's sun-grown. It's like really clean and really, really good, just clean cannabis that hits right. It's always whole flower. We don't use shake. We don't use trim. We try to go for quality whole plant extracts, meaning we really are in the terpenes. We're really into minor cannabinoids, and we want people to learn more about why that's important for cannabis consumers who are learning every day what cannabis is. So we are building a brand around the ethos of what Woodstock stands for, seeking out wellness, seeking out enjoyment, relaxation, magic, and cannabis is like a huge part of that. So yeah, this is the Village Green. This is like the center of town. This is where, there's a drum circle there every Sunday. 100 people come here, they're dancing, there's drumming. It's like, going back to the Rainbow Gatherings or Grateful Dead parking lot. It's really fun. And this is the heartbeat of Woodstock. Bob Dylan wrote a couple albums that way in a building over there. Jimi Hendrix played in a church down the street that is now Tinker Street Cinema. There's all sorts of really cool historical buildings here that, legends have been at and they've played at. And you can feel that vibe in the air when you're walking around town.
Richard Fusco came here in the summer of '69, and right now I'm involved with Radio Woodstock. I was working in the city. A friend of mine was a photographer. I was his photography assistant. His wife was pregnant. They decided they wanted to spend those last few months up here. And when he came up, he saw a building on Mill Hill Road that had burned out. The inside had burned out the year before. And he called me up and said, I'm going to open a club. If you want to come up and open it with me. And the club was the Joyous Lake. And we came up and built it and opened in August of 1970.
My name is Mike Dubois. I'm a local Woodstock artist. I've been here since 1986, which makes it 39 years. I came to Woodstock and I landed a caretaker position at a really cool house that was once inhabited by Van Morrison. He wrote the Moondance album there and Tupelo Honey and, settled here, had a family and been here ever since.
I've been living here in Woodstock for 30 years now. What brought me here was a pretty girl and a love story, but also a need to unrock and roll myself for a while because I was over the top with partying and in the game. When I got here, what I was able to do was kind of live and learn vicariously through the older generation.
So this is like the artist cemetery in Woodstock. A lot of the artists who made Woodstock are buried on this side, including the original founders of the Bohemian art community, the Maverick and Birdcliff. And there's a cool little shrine to them here. And Milton Glaser, who created the I Love New York logo, was a big Woodstocker. He created the Bearsville Theater logo, Bearsville Records, and his grave, which is really cool, he must have designed it, is here too. So let's go take a look. You don't see too many graves like this. The saying goes there's magic in these hills, and that's brought people to Woodstock since really after the First World War.
In the early 1900s, there were those two utopian communities, the Maverick and Birdcliff. And by the way, you want to talk about festivals? The Maverick had festivals that would blow Woodstock out of the water as far as wild and craziness.
This is the original Woodstock. Bohemian artists came up here. And this is where they were buried, and they created this site as kind of like a tribute. So this is like the Stonehenge of Woodstock, I like to call it. But this is like the source of a lot of like the hippies and that generation, the beat generation. I love coming up here in the mornings and just hanging out, hitting the vape and just relaxing and like getting this view, and you feel the history here. This is the longest artist colony in operation in the world, and that's drawn so many other artists and musicians, and its location in this magical Hudson Valley, Catskill Mountains area, it helps people create.
I don't know if it has to do with the creativity, but I do feel like the people here are more maybe inspired to connect with their creative side, and it gives them the permission to be that person. Because even if you maybe weren't that somewhere else, you can come here and be that.
What I was intimidated by when I first got here was that almost any kid walking down the street could actually like strap on a guitar and play a song. Hey, I wrote this last night, which is something that I've never done in my life. And when I first got here, it was like You know, I could be sitting in a restaurant and it's like Chrissy Hines is sitting next to me. It's like, oh, okay, this is this kind of time. Like Chrissy Hines is hanging out. You can see the guy from Lovin' Spoonful who's just, you know, at the market. Levon was a good one for me.
Levon Helm was the drummer for the band. He was considered one of the best singing drummers of all time, and he sung amazing classic songs like Up on Cripple Creek, The Weight, The Night They Drove All Dixie Down. You can walk to the graveyard and kind of pay your respects to the people who built this town, including Levon Helm. You can still go to Levon's house and see concerts there. It's called The Barn. Everybody's played there. They have concerts of touring musicians almost every weekend. And it's like one of the most special places to see music.
On weekdays, the town gathers at the Woodstock Farmers Market, stalls full of handmade work, produce from nearby farms, conversations that start with a taste and end with a story.
Right, nice families here in Woodstock, beautiful artisans sharing their goods. Really wonderful to see. This is what you want in your town.
We met artists who carve, paint, and print right here, musicians busking between booths, vendors who can tell you which hillside grew your lunch and which gallery opens tonight. Cannabis is not a headline here, it's part of the rhythm. Neighbors talk wellness and policy the same way they talk weather and harvest.
I like waking up. I live up on top of that mountain and looking out and seeing the clouds coming down the valley and untouched wilderness in my backyard.
I like that I'm in a space where, you know, you tell me your story, I tell you my story, and we can go, wow. You know, at the end of the day, wow. And then we move on and we see what we can do to better our lives. You know, Woodstock is a perfect place to be. Let me put it that way. It's perfect.
We're standing at the corner. This corner is famous because there's a picture of Bob Dylan on a motorcycle, and he got in a really bad motorcycle accident shortly after that in Woodstock. So it's kind of like, you know, a weird picture because he's riding around on a motorcycle that eventually crashed. But it happened right here because this building was called the Cafe Espresso, and it was really famous hangout of beat poets and Bob Dylan, and he would basically live upstairs. And he wrote Bringing It All Back Home, one of his, you know, most famous albums, upstairs.
Right here?
Typing away, right here, yeah. But it was called the Cafe Espresso. And now it's Happy Life Gallery, Mike Dubois' shop, which is like carrying the tradition of all this history and everything that's been happening here.
Mike here, welcome to Happy Life. Come on in the shop. This is, you could take a picture of it, but this is the whole history of this, this building. It's 59 Tinker Street. It was the old Tinker Street Cafe. It was the Cafe Espresso. It was the Center for Photography, and now I'm there with Happy Life Productions. We've got a small gallery with older music-oriented photography, and then you know, we also have other art and crafts in there, and we do music on the porch to keep the music tradition alive.
As a filmmaker, I was very excited to be coming to Woodstock during their annual Woodstock Film Festival, one of the biggest independent film festivals in the country. Just goes to show you Woodstock is still a hub for creatives, artists, directors, filmmakers, really wonderful. Got a lot of talent coming to the town.
Well, Woodstock Film Festival is great. It's drawn a lot of attention to the town. There's been a lot of great films that have come through here.
It brings in a lot of great people from all aspects of the film industry, and
the entire town just becomes full of people, full of creatives. There's talks, there's shows.
You know, all the different small festivals that Woodstock has. There's a book festival and a film festival and a lot of different music festivals.
There used to be the Woodstock Luthiers Festival, where guitar makers from all over the world would come here and buy wood to make their guitars, and there'd be great concerts as well. Even for a couple of years, we had the Woodstock Comedy Festival.
The whole region is loaded with culture. That's probably, you know, I travel around the country and I've been all over the world, and, you know, it's hard to rival what goes on here in Woodstock creatively in this little Ulster County bubble. It's incredible, really. It's great. And I hope that it continues and young artists and musicians can come here and continue to create and bring their art.
I like raising kids here. I like puffing here. I like being here. Musically, I like watching people and imagining how people formulate their musical plan or their creative plans. So I'm amongst artists and I'll have to be an artist in it.
I think that since we've moved here, we've seen a resurgence of music and art coming back to town. We definitely need to focus on how to keep affordable housing for people like artists and musicians to keep that going. But the growth and the rehab of the Colony into a great music venue, Pearl Moon into a music venue, Station Bar does music, Bearsville Theater does music. There wasn't as much of that, and it's really come roaring back, and I think it's going to continue.
There's a real energy here that stimulates community and creativity, and people respect that, and they love it for themselves, makes them feel more creative, but it also opens them up to see the creativity in other people and supporting other people. That same vibe that was there in here in 69 and 70 of what can I do to help you out is still here. And that sense of community of we're here in Woodstock. And it's important that that Woodstock spirit stay alive in us is really the foundation of what it is right now.